Hello everybody, welcome to 2CTV, your global news channel. We come to you guys with some breaking news coming from the capital of the UK. A man has been arrested following a mass stabbing attack in South London, not too far from central London. And there is a lot of speculations around the motive, the identity, which at this point the Metropolitan Police and Scotland Yard are currently withholding all that information. They're not releasing this, despite the fact that recently, especially after what happened in Southport a year ago in the UK, they said, going forward, we're going to give you guys all the information as soon as possible. We're going to give you guys a number of, obviously, videos and then, obviously, statements from the Met and, of course, the information about what's happened to the victims. We're going to get your reaction live during the show as usual. First things first, a suspect, as we said, has been arrested on suspicion of murder after two men who were killed and another two people who have been seriously injured. This was at on Long Lane in Bermondsey, Southwark, in South London, not too far from London Bridge, for those who are familiar with that borough. But in regards to the victims, let's focus on them for now, and then I'm going to explain the issue with the suspect, or the lack of identity or lack of motive for now, and also what's happened to him. We do know it's a him. That's the only thing we know. The only thing we know is it's a man. That's it. There was a lot of speculations about his nationality or skin color or things like that. We will get that verified and confirmed instead of just spreading what people have been saying on social media. But first, a 58-year-old man was unfortunately pronounced dead at the scene, and a 27-year-old man also died in hospital. A third man, who is in his 30s, is currently in a life-threatening condition in the same hospital. The Met Police have confirmed the conditions. The man who's been arrested is 31 years old. He is also in the hospital, but his injuries are believed not to be life-threatening. As I said, the police for now have chosen not to disclose any information about the identity, apart from the fact that, apart from his gender and his age, we don't know anything else about the suspect. There is a short video we have from the scene that we have now received.
Hell, man. That is deep, bro. No, that.
Now, this is becoming a bit of a regular thing, more than ever before, over the last few months, over the last year or so, especially since the Labour Party have been taking control of the city in London, but also the country in general. Under Sadiq Khan as the Mayor of London, crime has been going up regardless of anything else that's been happening. The British government, under the leadership of Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, have also made things much, much worse. At this point, the Labour government's priority is to do more cover-ups and to arrest those who criticise the government and who want to speak out on major crises, whether it's the grooming gangs, whether it's obviously the illegal migrants, crime going up. They claim to care about vulnerable people. They have introduced the Online Safety Act, which is to police people on the internet and censor. What they are doing is essentially they are covering up, and anybody who wants to basically point out of the problems that we have. If you want to basically try to protect our women and children, you will be arrested. They are, at this point, the government at this point are on the side of the abusers. They're on the side of criminals. They don't want you to expose them. They would defend them. That's why they've introduced these censorships, in order to shut people up. That's the whole point. Now, the excuse was that they're going to do it to protect children, but actually they're allowing children to be taken, they're allowing women to be taken, but you're not allowed to complain because they will come for you if you post anything online. Now, guys, speaking of the Labour Party, the local Labour MP, Neil Coyle, who does represent Bermondsey and Old Southwark, described the stabbings as truly awful, he said. And he also said that there was a targeted Isolated incident, according to the Labour MP, isolated incident. A resident who asked not to be named said, "It's terrifying. I walk past that area all the time. It makes you feel really uneasy. You just don't expect something like this to happen on a normal weekday." Having said that, considering that this has become a bit of a norm, but the Labour MP of the constituency says this is just an isolated incident. It doesn't seem to be that isolated when you combine it with all the other so-called incidents. You can see a trend of behavior. There's a massive problem. That aside, the Metropolitan Police, who we're still waiting for them to give us more information, there's a tiny reaction. Met Police's Emma Bond said that our thoughts are first and foremost with the family and friends of the victims of this tragic incident. Our investigation continues at pace and we are working hard to understand the full circumstances. And Scotland Yard also said that the crime scene is in place at a nearby hotel where the arrested man went into. So obviously the suspect after the attack decided to go into a certain hotel in the local area. But it's interesting how both the Labour MP, Coyle, and also the police are, on the one hand, calling it the isolated incident, but the police continues to just call it incident, as if it's like a car crash or an accident or something like this. This was clearly an attack. We know this was an attack. You don't just walk around the streets randomly carrying a knife. No normal person. In London, we don't do that. Because, you know, in London, we're not actually allowed to carry anything in self-defense. So we have different laws. So if you're carrying something, then obviously there is a reason you're doing this. Attacks continued, and they call it an isolated incident. One mother has also told of the horrifying moment that she heard about the stabbing in Southwark. Choosing to remain anonymous, she did tell the press that the nursery sent us an alert while I was at work saying that there had been a stabbing and that the roads would be cordoned off. She said, "It's terrifying. When I walk home to the nursery, I was trying to find out information about whether it was targeted or random, because you hear a lot about stabbings in London." She said, "It's really shocking. To have this in an area where I'm raising a child makes me worried that I shouldn't be living somewhere like this now, that I have a family." Well, yes, don't. I've been saying for a very long time now, if you want to raise a family, do not live in urbanized areas and cities, because it's just not safe. It's not worth it. Get out of the cities. And at this point, even smaller towns are becoming quite dangerous. In England, specifically. But definitely don't live in Southwark, which is technically South London, but it's basically central London because it's right next to Waterloo and London Bridge and the whole thing. So, and actually, I did live in Bermondsey about 4-5 years ago, only for about 6 months. And even back then, you could tell that you would not be able to walk on your own. Even as a man, you can't walk around on your own at 10 p.m. These days, you can't even walk around on your own at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. This is what you're dealing with. Meanwhile, there is a situation yesterday, speaking of attacks and chaos in London. Tommy Robinson, the independent journalist and political activist, was in an altercation. This was in St. Pancras train station in central London. We have a video from this, and we have some more information follow-up on that. Tommy Robinson appeared to have allegedly knocked someone unconscious. The video came out without context at first. Let me just show you this. The man is on the floor, and Tommy is basically angry. So that's the only video we have so far. We haven't seen the full version, what happened 30 seconds before. Evidently, we have seen things like this before. It's very similar incidents, especially when it comes to people like Tommy, where there will be someone who comes to attack or to provoke or something happens. So you could say self-defense, but you have to wait for the full video, the context. Having said that, I will be trying to get in touch with Tommy to find out more about this. The British Transport Police have now released a statement this morning, following what happened yesterday at the train station, saying that Tommy Robinson has now left the country. The statement is as follows. Following a report of an assault at St. Pancras station on the 28th of July, officers have confirmed that the suspect, a 42-year-old man from Bedfordshire, that's Tommy, boarded a flight out of the country in the early hours of this morning. Detectives are continuing to work closely to progress the investigation and bring him into custody for questioning. Now, the timing of this is going to be a little bit difficult now for Tommy and his team, because there is a rally that is supposed to be held on the 13th of September. And if Tommy is basically left, at least for now, whenever he gets back, he's going to be arrested. Which means that then there will be an investigation, and they will probably basically say that if this was self-defense, you could have come in before and we would have dealt with it. But now that you left the country, now you're a much bigger suspect, which means they could probably just hold him, and he might actually even miss his own rally. So again, it also depends on when he will be coming back. So if he comes back next week, or if he comes back 4 weeks from now, which will be much closer to the 13th of September date for the rally itself. So that's the latest on that. I will get more information about what's going on with Tommy Robinson. But yeah, we also still don't know about the suspect, the man who unfortunately killed at least 2 people, and obviously there's other people who are injured, one of them life-threatening. We'll find out what's happening with that. All right, so let's get some quick reaction from the live chat. What's this? They already seen the video, so they're going to lock him up. Well, based on the first video, the only video, obviously that's the only context that you have. Anybody who has knocked somebody unconscious should be arrested. That's kind of obvious. But then you have to, as part of the investigation, you have to find, and there's going to be CCTV footage anyway. You have to then find out what happened before that. Whether the man who was on the ground, who by the way was double the size of Tommy, he was huge, that guy, whether he threw a punch first or whatever happened. It's all about also context. Nick Summers says, if I heard Tommy right, he said that the other man attacked him first. That usually has been the case before anyway, so it's probably highly likely. Cold-blooded murder is the norm in the UK these days, yeah. This person says, even if as self-defense, there is no way he could trust the police to be unbiased and not taking commands from the government to hold him regardless. I think this is probably why. Unless him leaving the country was scheduled anyway. This could be one of the reasons he decided to leave, which by the way is making things worse, obviously. But it could be the fear that he would think that he's going to lose the case. Tommy has 0 self-control. Love the guy, but for F's sake, learn when to react. They will stitch him up for this now. He has been very stupid. Yeah, I mean, again, if you know that the establishment will always try to find an excuse to get you, it's best to always be slightly more tactful. But again, really depends on what happened just before. Because if, for example, hypothetically, if the man is, I don't know, he's just going to him and said, I'm going to punch you, or even tries to like push Tommy or whatever, you can still try to control, just push him away and walk away. If the man is basically coming directly very hard, and you know you can't stop him, then that's different. Yeah, you're gonna have to use anything you have to basically bring him down. But yeah, if it's just a generic, like, I'm gonna kill you and your family, it's probably best to just, because you know what they're gonna do. As this person said, they will always find an excuse. There has been some reports on social media that the man has not woken up or is in a coma. I can't confirm that. We have been in touch with the authorities. We're still waiting for a comment on that. I have a super chat here saying, Maya, Sakir will soon recognize Palestine. That's sad. Yeah, well, he did say if Macron does it, he will do it too. This is actually a good thing, because this is now putting pressure on the same Western governments who keep pushing for this. If more of them actually do this, you might think it's a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. They're going to be cornered. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Macron, on Starmer, and all the others, even Mark Carney, when eventually he pushes for the whole Palestinian project, because then they're going to have to answer some questions. Where? Which part? What territory? Who will be in charge? Until now, it's just been an idea. It's so easy to say, oh yeah, free Palestine, Palestinian state. It's easy to say that. But once you, as a politician, as a government, announce it as a policy, you're going to have to then defend your position. You're going to have to explain where, how, and by whom. So this is just the beginning of the fallout. Now, if Tommy is being held, when the rally happens, S will hit the fan, and they will use it to say everyone is a violent far-right hooligan. So to be fair, this is what a lot of people thought would happen last year when Tommy was in trouble, and he also then went to jail, and then the first rally without him. There were a lot of people who were saying, oh, well, the people are now angry, and this was just after the summer riots, Southport. People said, well, this is it. Some of Tommy Robinson's supporters are going to cause chaos, and everyone's going to be labeled far right. Actually, didn't happen. The United Kingdom rallies continued to be peaceful. So I know with people on the right, there could always be one or two people who could lose their mind, but a lot of people thought that last year things are going to kick off because Tommy was brought down and whatever happened, and the riots happened. But actually, those rallies, the United Kingdom rallies, they remained actually peaceful, not just largely peaceful. So it was fine. Sorry, but hypothetically, if this attacker said the words, I will kill you, your family, that's no different to saying, I don't mind if the hotel burns down and the degree of criminal action. Yeah, but I don't think Matthew understands what I'm saying. Matthew, if someone comes to you and says that, and if you know they're about to do something, yes, bring him down. Send him to coma and then call the police. If you're Tommy Robinson and you know they're going to get you, be tactful. The only time you have to, even as Tommy Robinson, go hard is when you know then there is an imminent hard attack on you. Not just words, not just threats. Every single day there are thousands of people who are sending death threats to Tommy and his family. They're not like Matthew. They're not like, well, I get them as well, but not as much as Tommy. They're like many other people. Many other people don't really get hundreds of death threats every day. Obviously, their death threats are serious. And Matthew is right in terms of the rhetoric, comparing a comment saying, I don't mind if the hotel burns down, which is Lucy Connolly, who is in jail, who shouldn't be in jail. And if someone says, if that guy had said, I will kill your family, yes, obviously he should be in jail. Tommy should record it, get the police to arrest him. The point is, in terms of imminent physical threat to you as a person, when you're standing there in a train station, if, again, context is important, we'll eventually, hopefully, we'll get some sort of CCTV footage. If that person, any person, when it comes to Tommy, they are going hard right there, and you know you can't stop them by just holding them or pushing them, then obviously, yeah, you're going to have to defend yourself. And then you have to stand there. You call the police. You have to call the police. But if you know that what that guy is probably going to do, hypothetically, is just saying, oh, I hate you, and he's even trying to throw a punch, just push, walk away, shout at him, run away. If you're Tommy. If you're a normal person, defend yourself. If you're Tommy, just walk away. Because as everybody said, they're going to find every excuse to still blame it on you. You can't do that. You can't be a martyr. If you want to be a martyr, as Matthew suggests, then fine, be a martyr. But then obviously, then you're not going to see your kids, you're going to lose your rally, miss your rally, and everything else. You can still choose to do that. Did someone just say, Tommy doesn't just lash out? Okay, Tommy is a good friend of mine, and I love him. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of also Tommy supporters in the live chat who could react to this comment. Love the guy. He does lash out, so he does need to control his temper. But again, after everything that he's gone through over the last 15 years, 20 years, after everything that they've done to him, obviously he's not going to have any patience. But saying he doesn't just lash out, so it's because of everything that's happened to him that he does lash out. And actually, in recent years, the last couple of years, he has been a good boy. He's been basically controlling his temper and situations. It's just that whatever happened yesterday, we will wait to get more information on that. Clearly, that guy was causing a lot of trouble. Again, we'll find out what actually happened. What is this? I don't think Tusi was pleased at what Trump said about Putin. What else has Trump said about Putin? Well, the latest couple of things that Trump said about Putin was, one was that he was disappointed at Putin, then gave him a deadline, then said that I've had enough of Putin, and then he said, of course, we will still talk to Putin. That's, and we've already reported on Tusi TV anyway, unless he said something new over the last couple of hours, which I doubt. Although it's 2 p.m., he's still around. So yeah, in terms of time zone. This person says, I wish they would leave Tommy alone. He's an easy target for them. That's why they would never leave him alone. Super chat from Dylan saying, Tommy was coming back from a walk with police. What? Okay, the police wasn't there, but yeah, okay. I don't know what this person's saying. Oh yeah, that guy's back. 2C TV, don't you feel ashamed for farming content like this in order to make money on YouTube? I love when some left-wing nerds find they discover new phrases and terms. So, for example, over the last few years, when people found out about, I don't know, words like clickbait or content farming, they're like, oh, I'm going to use that. That sounds clever. I don't think you actually know what farming content actually means. This is a news channel. We have to report the news regardless of whatever happens. But the fact that it makes you angry that we as a team are doing well, I'm very happy. It makes me very happy, and I will continue to do more. I will continue to farm more content because you're going to be angry that I'm not ashamed. Absolutely not. I'm very proud. You're just jealous because you can't do it as good as me. So the more you say this, the more I'm going to farm content. And a lot of people don't even know what farming content is. So yes, the answer is I am not ashamed. He just said, you didn't answer though. I literally answered. I'm not ashamed. I'm very proud. You try, bitch. All right. Let's go back. Let's get some reaction from the lovely members of 2CTV Plus who encourage bad behavior, and they are the reason why I'm able to farm more content and do clickbait, as they say, right? It's these guys. The members of 2CTV Plus are the reason we are able to continue as a team. And as that person said, make money, apparently. It's a business. We have to pay the staff somehow, otherwise they're going to go hungry. And they're going to starve like the Gaza and Hamas leaders. All right, a bit strange following the US incident last night. I think these awful stabbings will increase suddenly. It's already increasing massively in Europe. The London stabbing seems to follow a pattern. Why haven't the authorities learned anything by disclosing who these people are, including their ethnicity? I did literally say this a few weeks ago, a month ago. When was it? We had something happen, another attack, and actually the suspect happened to be a white man. And then the authorities and the media immediately disclosed the information. They said, the reason we did this is because we've learned from mistakes from Southport. We will always give you guys, and I did say, okay, they did it because, it was convenient. Wait for the next attack. This is the next attack. It's been over 24 hours. Where is the information? I don't really care who it is. Just tell us, because you are creating a vacuum, you idiots. I would not blame Tommy for leaving due to the injustices that he has already suffered. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, obviously, I will try to get in touch with him. If that's the case, I don't blame him on a human level. I'm just saying that obviously that's going to come with consequences, which means they're going to come for him even more. Which means the moment he gets back to London, not only are they going to arrest him, they're going to keep him in there and he will miss his 13th of September rally. Unless he's able right now to get his lawyers, to get evidence, to show what happened before that video, and then come back, he will still get a slap on the wrist for leaving the country. But they haven't been doing a manhunt, but they were seeking him to basically bring him for questioning. So it's still a little bit naughty, but it's not that illegal yet. So it's just about timing. If it were a white guy, we would have been told straight away. Yeah, I mean, I think it goes beyond that at this point, because it hypothetically could still be a white guy. But they're not necessarily covering up because it's a white guy. Even if it's a white guy, it's just that they wanted to do what they did a month ago when they did disclose the identity of a suspect. They just wanted to do it on purpose when it was convenient, but they didn't want to make it a bit of a habit. They just were like, okay, let's just do it once after Southport and just keep going as normal. Then, go back to the normal practice of not telling people anything. Ivan says, it's okay, we stand with the farmers, Maya. Oh no, Ivan. Yeah, I will continue to farm content. To be fair, by definition, when you are doing, you're creating a lot of content in terms of whether it's news content or podcasters, whatever they do, or political commentators, you're literally farming content. So that's the definition of the words. You only do content farming? How could you say? I know, that's the only thing I do. Insanity of these people. Where's that guy? I need to find that troll again. Is he still around? All right, let me just... I think I remember his profile picture. If I see... Let's find him. Let's find him. Let's hunt him down. There we go, he's here. Oh, there we go, I found him. Ready? He said... Just lost him. Wait, he called me far right. What a compliment. Hang on, I've got it. First he said, haha, what a lame answer. Cool. But then he also said, okay, if you guys stop messaging in the live chat, I'm struggling to scroll up. I've got him. What's this? So you keep making money and others suffering. No, that's not how it works. That's literally not how it works, idiot. It's a news channel, so we tend to have sometimes good news, but it's not my fault that the whole world is full of bad news. Actually, yesterday, a couple of days ago, most of the stuff we reported was good news. It's happy news. So yeah, we also made money based on people's happiness. So yeah, basically we make money regardless, right? It's the same you could say about the police. They go to work, they get paid because people become victims and they suffer because criminals attack them. How dare the police make money, right? Or doctors. How dare the doctors make money while their patients suffer? It did say, I'm finding it, don't worry. This is actually the best bit. It said something about far right and something about... This is one of the few times where I kind of want the troll to spam, to copy and paste so I could see. There we go. You are either far right or far wrong. Yes, I'm far right. You can say that to all media. Yes. And in fact, when you look at some of the more legacy media, when they primarily, they don't just report the bad news. They they create the bad news and they seek. And you've seen there's been so many examples, by the way, where especially in America, we've had the mainstream media. I'm sure you've seen these kind of videos on social media where the police, the media would basically get a couple of people, a few people, small group, stand in the middle of the street when there has been an incident somewhere, right? Something's happened, like a car crash. They stand in there, they coordinate with them. They say, you guys are going to stand here as eyewitnesses and victims. So when we start recording, start crying and have a basically panic. But these days, obviously, people have mobile phones, so they can film from the behind the scenes. We've seen so many times where the legacy media actually coordinate bad news. Now that is content farming. Now that is disgusting. There is enough chaos that you can just actually report on rather than creating more of it. What does it say now? The fact that you are triggered says everything I need to know. I don't think you know the definition of word triggered. Again, I told you, he's one of those that he just discovered new words over the last 5-10 years. He's just using them. Content farming, triggered, far wrong. It's just sound bites. These are what we call NPCs, non-playable characters. This is just there, repeating the same thing as the others instead of being original. Yeah, go and actually find a definition of triggered, because I don't think you know what that actually means. Where is the... All right, let's go back to the members. We've given enough attention. Unless it's something interesting, I won't go back to it. What's this? Plenty of news out there. Just filtering the noise is the tricky bits. Takes a good news farmer. You're doing a fine job. That's the thing. I mean, if I were to, for example, just focus on chaos, you do realize every single day, considering that 2C TV is a global news channel, I could literally just every 10 minutes give you guys death and misery from all around the world. Every day. I mean, every day I can just focus on Gaza. Just Gaza alone. That would just farm the whole content, right? Speaking of chaos, we'll have to give you guys some updates on the chaos in Asia. Cambodia and Thailand, who apparently agreed to a ceasefire yesterday. Guess what? The ceasefire has been violated by the CCP-backed Cambodia. So, what is this? Oh, I'm just getting a message from James Harvey. All right. Brilliant. James Harvey is going to be releasing a new video about his arrest. He did just text me, I shouldn't say. He said, I didn't swear at all this time. You will be so proud of me. Thank you, James Harvey. I will wait, because when James Harvey, the independent journalist, was arrested a few days ago, I did show you guys his video statement, and he kept swearing. I was like, you gotta get the whole channel demonetized. So he's done a new video statement, and apparently he hasn't sworn. So I'm proud of you, James. All right, anyway, let's take a break. Let's come back. We're going to talk about Cambodia and Thailand. We're going to talk about Iran. Protests in Iran have finally erupted. People have said enough is enough. And also we have some update on what happened last night in New York City following our last night's reports. We have more information about the motive coming from the suspect. Subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to download the 2C TV app, the home of geopolitical news, from your app stores today. And obviously join 2C TV Plus as a member by going directly on 2c.tv or find the link in the description. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.